do you think it did resonate? I mean, you know, it's really, really dense. You've got to really, really lean in and commit yourself to that. Why do you think that happened?
I think it's to do with the characters. It's all to do with the characters. I think if you get, it's every time when I go, whether I go to sort of Peking or Moscow or Buenos Aires and all that, and I speak to people, they always say the same thing. It's like, oh, we've got a Begbie, we know a Spud, we've got a Renton and all that. You know, they're kind of archetypes. You know, so if you have characters that are very, very strong archetypes without being stereotypes, they really resonate across cultures, basically. You know, and I think that was what kind of pulled people into the story.
No, you can sit here and look back at 20 years and be able to, you know, talk this beautifully about it. What was it like being in there at that moment when it started to take off?
I think I mean, for me, it was like it was something that it kind of happened very, very quickly, and I thought that what I've got to do is to try and sort of find a bit of space so that I can have a life that's not sucked into that. Because the funny thing about being a writer was that well, you know, what happened with Trainspotting is because of a lot of things really, but mainly, you know, cemented by Danny Boyle's film. You know, it became a kind of a sort of Britpop artifact, and that was such an interesting time for Britain, because the 90s was like a kind of it was like a supermarket of the sale of British culture before globalisation. You know, it was like an amalgam of everything that had happened before, taken and sold off into the global market. It was like a party, but it was also like a kind of requiem mass for British culture as well. You know, and Trainspotting became the kind of, you know, the book and film of that. For me, I wanted to give myself a bit of space away for it. So I was always constantly kind of running away a little bit from it. And because the weird thing about being a writer is that you don't really want kind of celebrity, or you don't really want too much celebrity, because you kind of want to be, or at least back then you do. I think it's different now. I think any artist needs a certain type of celebrity in a way to almost kind of draw people into what they're doing. But back then, you know, you were a writer, you wanted to be as anonymous as possible. You know, you want to be more about, you wanted to be about the work rather than about you. So I was running away from it a lot. But obviously, you know, there's lots of temptations as well. So you kind of, I was always tempted to kind of dip my toe in it and then sort of run, and then dip my toe back in it and then run. I'm glad it kind of happened when I was just at the age I was at, but it happened even 5 years earlier.
How old were you when that one?
Trainspotting was published when I was 31, I think, and I think if it had happened maybe about 5 years earlier, it would have been a very difficult time for me. I mean, it was quite difficult. It was. But
How did you manage that? I mean, you know, that level, because I remember you and your name being everywhere. I remember seeing you in a club in Leeds and being surrounded by people.
Yeah, I moved to Amsterdam, which is quite a kind of laid back place. And the interesting thing about Amsterdam is that even if people know you, they're not going to admit to it. You know, so it's like people are very, very cool, but in a kind of nice way. So. But it was all going on. I was like kind of just cycling my bike around Amsterdam, and then it kind of hit there quite big a year later, and I moved to Dunfermline in Fife, which is a small kind of town. I mean, it's like sort of you know, I don't know what the equivalent here would be, but Bradford. Right? I knew that James would jump in quickly there.
Who said that? Who said that?
That would be James. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Right.
But yeah, I mean, it was you know, it made perfect sense to me, you know, to live in a small town in Scotland, and kind of, and I was just like kind of hanging around with the young team in the local shopping centre and all that. And
you used to hang around in the local shopping centre?
I used to hang around the local shopping centre. That was where, you know, I did all my research. I would just kind of, I would kind of, you see the young team hanging around there, I would go in and sort of go into the office and buy some drinks for them, just sitting down and chat with them. And I was basically, I mean, I was kind of almost like sort of, the Daily Record would sort of never find me there, basically, because they think I would be in sort of London or New York or somewhere. So that was nice. That gave me about 6 to 9 months until it started to ebb down.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, I just found it, I would have found it very hard to be kind of in London or even Edinburgh at that time.
Sounds quite a nomadic existence. That was it all right?
Yeah, it's been. I have been quite nomadic, not really by design, just by kind of accident. And I've always liked to travel and to go to different places and see different places. And that's been the biggest luxury that the whole thing's given me. It's been that ability to travel around the world, and to do it at quite short notice as well. Because the great thing about writing is that you can do it anywhere. You just need your laptop basically with you, and now you've got email. You can send stuff anywhere. You can research stuff on the internet. So it's a great time to be a writer if you have that kind of if you're fortunate enough to have that financial kind of thing whereby you can just do that and live that way.
Mm. Yeah.
Anyway,
I haven't got any questions to ask you, but it's just this is lovely. This sat with you. But I know that there are people in the room who have got questions, and it's always nice to be able to draw people in. So, would anybody like to ask a question?
I would.
Oh, brilliant. Dr. Rebecca. Hello.
I was quite interested in what you said earlier about previous drug literature being quite kind of beatnik, middle class kids off on some kind of existential adventure. And I absolutely think that Trainspotting was really important to represent a different class aspect of drug and club culture. But my personal experience of club culture is that it's been very mixed and has been quite important in blurring the boundaries of class. Would you agree with that? Is that something that you feel that you've experienced, or are you absolutely that club and drugs are absolutely class bound?
I think you're right in so many ways. I mean, if you look at, it has broken down a lot of barriers, and I remember like Scottish social life kind of basically before kind of Acid House was that the guys would meet in one corner of the pub, the girls would meet in another corner of the pub, or even a different pub, or even a different or the Snug. They would all get pissed. They would go into a disco and they would meet for the last dance, and then kind of go home or not go home as it kind of happened, but it's like then it just seemed to change, and people went out in kind of mixed posses basically, so you saw that kind of gender thing breaking down. I know a lot of people that have said in Northern Ireland that it was one of the unsung kind of reasons that sectarianism broke down in Northern Ireland, because people were going out and they were kind of raving and partying with each other, and it really took a whole generation of people out of the sectarian kind of terror groups basically, because they weren't really interested in doing that, so they just lost a whole kind of generation of recruitment basically to keep that sort of stuff going on. And I think it has done. I think with class as well. I mean, I kind of I met a lot of people from different backgrounds than me, from a lot wealthier kind of backgrounds, who before I would have probably said like, these fucking posh bastards don't want fucking anything to do with these cunts. And then you get to know them, and some of them are really great people and all that, and become good friends and all that, so it does kind of break down a lot of these superficialities.
What's the one thing that stops you with becoming bourgeois?
There's nothing at all that stops I think I don't know. I mean, I think I get into trouble for saying this, and I get, you know, I always get the. Usually it's like feature writers and you know, the Guardian, the Telegraph, and all that go like, "Oh, you're middle class now." You're middle. And I say, I'm not middle class. I'm fucking upper class. Like middle class, middle class people have got kind of mortgages, and they worry about red bills and all that. I don't worry about any of that stuff. I'm a gentleman of leisure, I'm a gentleman of letters. I sit around and write and indulge my hobby all the time, and that really annoys them, particularly Telegraph people who've all got huge mortgages. Like, so, yeah, but I think, you kind of, I've got, I'm very, very lucky. I've got an incredibly kind of rarefied lifestyle compared to people, and I really do appreciate it, but it's like kind of, I always think of it as like, it's being on the dole, but I just get a massive gyro kind of thing.
I've got a question for you. Did you set out intentionally to write in the Scottish word? Because I've read all your books, and I did find it hard. I mean, I have mates that are jocks. I love, we have Yorkshiremen and jocks, we seem to get on, but you always wrote very much as it was. Was that intentional from the beginning? Was that what you set out to do?
It wasn't originally, no. I mean, I set out to tell the story, and like, you tell the story in the way you always write, which is in standard English. And I kind of started to write these characters, and I thought, this is so fucking pretentious. They weren't sounding like that in my head. They weren't sounding like that, not just in the dialogue, but also in the narrative. When you kind of always think about it as like, if you're really fucked up and you're trying to get, you're lost, you wake up on some strange couch at some strange party in some strange part of town, and you're trying to get home, and you walk out and you start having that almost kind of audible kind of dialogue with yourself, going, what the fuck was I doing? What a stupid cunt, what the fuck, So I was trying to capture that kind of sort of feeling, but not just in dialogue, but also in narrative, having people telling the story in kind of imaginative space. And it just didn't work in standard English, it just sounded bizarre. I mean, how would Begbie have sounded in standard English? It just would be fucking nonsense, like.